the best part of the DLC was the part that tells us about the next one. Hey everybody, Cohh here. This time with another thoughts video, this time for Diablo IV Vessel of Hatred. When Diablo IV came out, I was looking forward to it. There were a lot of cool promo and materials for it, some good looking cutscenes. So I said, you know what? I'll give you a try. Diablo IV base game had a lot of problems, but what it didn't have was a story that I disliked. I actually had a very good time with Diablo 4's story. It had some really good cutscenes, some incredible voice acting. That was awesome. That was great. I felt like it was pretty good. I had a good time like the whole time in the Diablo 4 base game. Definitely enough to the point where when they announced Vessel of Hatred, I was like, oh yeah, I'm on board. Let's go do the expansion. You know, if it has the same level of what I got from the base game, maybe we'll get a little more. Maybe we're gonna get something that's really gonna, yeah, we didn't. Diablo 4 Vessel of Hatred is pretty much more of the same, except it didn't have what I liked from the base game that I feel is the icing on the Diablo cake. There's a cutscene in the base game. Lilith is like slowly walking through her army that's charging the other direction, and like Inarius charges her. That whole section is like cinema. We're talking like some of the best visuals I've seen in gaming. Like, oh my God, like that scene is essentially why I'm here playing the expansion, was because I'm literally chasing the dragon of those scenes. One thing about Diablo is Diablo has always been the game, but then there's been this frosting on it that Blizzard has always managed to do, of cutscenes, of world design, of music, that has kind of made that cake really attractive, at least for like a one playthrough, right? Like there's two different types of Diablo playthroughs. You've got like the people that do the main story and enjoy the cinematics and enjoy the story. And then you have the people that are just playing for the cake, the end game runners, the hardcore players, those kind of guys. I played Diablo for the story, for the cinematics, for all that stuff, which is why the base game was pretty good. Going in with the expectations that I had, the expansion for me was a very large letdown. There is a new class called Spiritborn, which I thought was okay. I had an okay time with it. If I were to play it again, I probably wouldn't pick the class, but it's a cool class, has some cool mechanics. This looks identical to all other classes I've seen in Diablo. Oh, see, that's the thing though. This one is completely different because oh, this one's green. There's some cool merc stuff, which may or may not have been in the game already, but I hadn't played since release. And there's some other little mechanics here and there, but I mean, nothing that I would say is enough to qualify the price tag. Now, what I thought would qualify the price tag was more big, awesome cutscenes, some really cool story being told, some great new characters. That is not what I got from the expansion. The dialogue writing is mostly okay.
Laurel, promise me something.
Anything.
When we find Mephisto, you let me be the one to kill him.
The voice acting and the presentation, that's something that Blizzard has always done well. The world is beautiful. I gotta admit, man, the presentation is still amazing. I will give them the credit where it's deserved. The graphics, the music, like, oh man, it's great. It's really good. I'd say a couple cutscenes that definitely made me, whoa, this is cool, but far less than I thought. And there was also, and this is the part that we really have to talk about. The overall writing of this expansion is not good writing. In my opinion, the overall writing of this game is rather objectively not good. And what do I mean by that? It's very clear there's been themes in previous Diablos. The fact that the world is dark, that everything is bad, that, you know, it's okay for evil to win because we'll get them next time kind of stuff. But in this expansion, I felt like they were playing in a lot of themes that I think are more tropey to today's day and age. And they were leaning into them at times uncomfortably hard. And where I was just going like, this isn't Diablo. This door is sealed. Can you unseal it?
A trial, perhaps.
That'd be great.
Two hands reaching for each other. Are they reaching or are they letting go? Maybe we need to let go of something as well. A sacrifice. The stone. Take it.
You know that won't work. It is bound to you.
Good show.
I've lost everything else.
Thanks, Arts Gaming.
My arm, myself even. What more do you want from me?
The empty space they left. What have you filled it with, Mirel?
Grief. Guilt. Enough. I let it all go.
What? You all right?
No, I feel emptied out. Exhausted. But thank you for asking.
Cruel, isn't it? How sometimes what's best for us hurts the most.
Why would this door be sealed? Why would that unlock it? Why would the... What? That's one of those situations where, like, I feel like they wrote that and then nobody was like, but is it good and does it fit? Like, it's there and it does what it needs to do, but like, does it make sense? Does it make sense this would exist without the main character there? Does it make sense in its function without the characters being present? Like, if you start asking these questions, like, it all immediately starts falling apart. Like, immediately. I'm not used to that in Diablo games. Like, that's one of the things I've always kind of liked, how Diablo games have always been kind of consistently just weird and dark and evil. And it's like, that's been what's made them cool. It was also very bland. I kind of got the same feeling as I did in Pillars of Eternity's 2 story, where I was just kind of like following along for a lot of the story, kind of chasing someone, and I kind of knew what was going to happen the whole time until the end. Fair enough. They did mix it up at the end.
What have you done? All she wanted was to hurt you.
No.
Oh, you gave her a belly tentacle? What happened?
The girl killed one of the only people trying to be her friend.
Wow. Okay. They like didn't even try to hide foreshadowing her death. Like, they basically broadcast it. 2, nobody likes an off-screen death. Nobody. Especially of like, there's only like a handful of main characters in this, and you killed one of them off-screen. 3, there was no point to this death. Like, this could have happened while they were walking down the road anywhere. No effect, no reason, no trigger. It's just somebody was like, cool, let's kill her now for an emotional effect. Like, what a complete just waste of potential. That's so boring. It's so unfortunate. Good storytelling is a lie, and the lie has to be told well for you to believe it. And if you believe it, you become invested. And when you're invested in a story, you don't really ask a lot of questions because you like what you're doing. You're engaged with it. You're invested. You're along for the ride. You bought the ticket. You took the ride.
This is just more proof that game companies like MS and Activision treat game dev like a factory. Spit one out every year,
Yep.
make profit.
What it is it's a bunch of people that don't play video games, that don't even make video games. Their job is to make money. So they look at all the black and white numbers, they see what sold well in the past, and then they take their millions or billions of dollars and they give it to people who work day jobs and they go, make me more of those, because those make money. And the game dev people in the trenches go, okay, whatever you want. And over time, as these game devs get more and more success, they unfortunately hire more and more people that just don't care about the product. And then we get games where parts of them are awesome and other parts of them just suck. As long as the whole picture looks good enough to sell, the details don't really matter. This game has gotten to the point where it's so assembly lined that even though parts of the game have the focus that we've come to know and love, other parts have really suffered. And one of those parts is the writing. Yeah, it's clear on something like this, they have multiple writers. Sometimes the dialogue was actually pretty great. Like, what they were saying was pretty awesome, but it's just like the areas and what they were doing in the areas and how the areas related to each other, which I'm guessing were different people, because a game of this scope usually has multiple writers doing multiple things. This is the first expansion I've played from a Diablo game where there were enough of those cracks that I stopped believing the lie of the story. When I started seeing the light through the cracks were everywhere. And that's what happened to me about midway through this. Like the facade fell away and I started looking at every encounter and every little event and I'm being like, does this make sense? Does it make sense the characters are doing this? Does it make sense this place exists? Does it make sense? And the answer is no, for a lot of it.
Seems we weren't the first to find this place.
What does it say?
It's etched in the same hand. Help was asked, so help was offered. Is that what we're supposed to do? Ask for help?
I would like help, please. Hit me.
Aid would be welcome.
Really?
Wait, don't hurt them. They're the offered help.
This is Blizzard. This is a multi-million-dollar company. Just got bought for millions and millions. This is supposed to be like the pinnacle of gaming. Their writers, they thought it was a good idea to have it to where this ancient area where people used to commune with their gods, and it's been here for God knows how long. We walked up and read a stone. Oh, it says on the tablet that to get help, we need to ask for it. Hey, y'all think we can get some help? And then a god appeared and was like, yo, you want some help? Oh, cool, he's helping. That's where we are for writing these days. That's it. How does that make it out of a writing room, dude? Like, it doesn't get more basic. AI writing would be better, because at least it would be not that. The whole thing that got me to think about how ridiculous this whole situation is thinking there was just a line of plebeians here, and one would walk in and be like, yo, God, I need some help. And God would be like, yo, what's up? And then he'd tell them, and then they walk away. And then the next one would walk in and be like, yo, God, I need some help. Oh yeah, what's up? You said you needed help. Well, that's how you call me. And then they like have a little talk. The more you think about what this area is used for from what you just saw, the more absolutely ridiculous the whole thing becomes.
1,000 people that walked through that area and nothing happened to them. But your character, who's fused with the Lilith, the daughter of hatred, something happens. I feel like that's a detail being missed.
And how cool would it have been if they had pointed that out and talked about how special we were? But they didn't. If they would have tied it in to being some cool thing about the blood in my chest coming out and summoning the spirit, or the spirit came out and said, normally we don't respond to anyone, but what is the blood of what's the blood of Lyric doing here? Talking to me. You know, like there's so many more ways that could have been interesting, but instead they went with literally the most boring, basic thing. And that's what stinks, because I feel like good writing answers those questions you don't know you have. A good way to say it is I feel like the beginning of Game of Thrones to the end of Game of Thrones, where there is this real effort you can see being made to craft a believable, awesome world. And then you get to this point where you're just like, wait a second, what happened to that world? And this is the part that kills me. Imagine watching Fight Club, but they removed all of the stuff that hinted to the big twist ending. That's Eru's story. The second I saw the blood, the second I saw that dagger hit the floor, I was like, Eru just, a lot of people noticed my dumb face. Dude, I was looking at Eru going, there's no way. I was looking for reasons that he would betray us. When he raised his head, I was like, there's no way. They're gonna do some bullshit where he's doing it to save the people he loved, which makes zero sense in this encounter because they're literally on the road to protect the world from the ultimate evil, and it's working in front of him. And you're gonna tell me at that stage, that guy is then going to, after being introduced to us as a man of faith, literally has given his life. Oh my God, dude, it hurts, it hurts. Like, do you realize how cool that could have been? Do you realize how cool it could have been if we got little hints throughout the story that Eru was gonna betray us? You know how interesting they could have made his character? It could have been awesome. Nothing. It was like two different characters. The only thing he did that was a little off kilter is when his lady died and he was like, I'm not gonna go with you because I'm so pissed at you.
Maka, Akarat sent me to you. I stayed when you told me of Lilith. I stayed when you spoke with Mephisto. But this, I can't stay anymore. Akarat asks too much of me. The price of your friendship is too high.
Wait, what? Isn't that like your whole life?
Take the child with you and go.
Maybe that was them trying to be like, look, his motivations are not completely pure. But even then, man, that makes it even more lazy because it's like what that we were supposed to pick up like a betrayal based on that. Like, it's frustrating. I feel like we've seen this exact story done so much better so many times. I was looking for it and still did not get enough to make that betrayal mean something to me. The point that I want to make is that I feel like me and many, many other players did not pick up on that at all. The writers need to do a better job at making this be the story instead of what we work out behind the scenes. Like, another great example is Outlast 2. Outlast 2's story is actually awesome.
Be careful! Fuck! Fuck! Lynn! You okay? I'm coming down!
How's the baby? Is the Antichrist okay?
Outlast 2's story actually ties directly into Outlast 1. It's really cool.
The brainwashing experiment is part of Murkoff Corporation's secret program? They're the same company from the first game that reopened Mount Massive Asylum? How could they not talk about this? There is absolutely no question that the devs should have done a much better job connecting those dots.
But I got to the end of the game and didn't even realize the games were related because they tell the story through missable pickups that I missed. So always remember, you can have a great, cool story, but if you don't tell the story properly, if you don't make sure that the reader knows what they need to know when they need to know it, then that whole lie thing we were talking about earlier completely falls apart. That wasn't your fault in there. Dude, we've told her this like 50 times already. Let's tell her again. You know it's not your fault, by the way.
Friends shouldn't lie to each other. Maka said Samuk
Do
is
I
fast
have to tell you
and faster
51 times?
I'll return to Kurast to chart our path.
I'm playing Diablo to be told your story, and I want you to lie to me. And I want to be brought with that lie all the way through your story, believing it the whole time. And this expansion did not do that for me. There is enough failure points in the writing to where the building collapsed. We just need a couple really good writers to like oversee everything, make sure it all connects. Like, go to each area, ask yourself, is this believable? Does this make sense? Like just a little bit of extra, and then just fix it here and there. I try to keep a perspective balanced in enjoy it for what it is, but call it out when it deserves to be called out. That's what I've been trying to do lately. Like, I'm taking it for what it is. I'm enjoying it for what it is.
You're back.
But there are times when games like this and games that we've played, you know, we should call them out every so often. Like, you know, like I feel like that's deserved. If you aren't gonna put in the time and effort to make things immersive, I feel that we can call them out for not being immersive. I think that's fair. Funny enough, I think a lot of times the criticism I have for games comes from a place of me just wanting to enjoy them more. Like, for instance, all the stuff about the Diablo writing, I'm hard on it because I want them to do better. Not hard on them because I don't want to play it. I'm hard on them because I expect more from them. And I'm going to talk about it when I feel that way. Like, I still enjoy playing them. I still want them to be better. The TLDR at the end of this rant is the expansion's okay. It's okay. It's not their best work, but it was not bad enough for me to swear it off. And I really do hope we see a little bit more cogency inside the games. This thoughts video was a little rambling, but I will say that I don't feel that anything I've said is inaccurate. But on that note, I'm going to go yell at some clouds. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this thoughts video. There will, of course, be more, and I will see you then for them.